There's a new piece in US News and World Reports, and it's quite fascinating. What they did is they took the 39 best diets overall and they ranked them from first to worst. So let's go through these diets because I find that this piece here is quite extraordinary. Now, when we look at the scorecard as to how they determined which diet was the best and which was the worst, basically they did it like this. The best diets are easy to follow, they're nutritious, and they're effective for both weight loss and preventing diabetes and heart disease. Now, when you see that, you would say to yourself, as any reasonable person would, well, this is pretty awesome. I'm trying to avoid heart disease. I'm trying to avoid diabetes. And heck, who wouldn't want to lose a little bit of weight? So this seems pretty obvious that we would have a big interest in this, okay? Now, next I want to look at who actually ranked them. It was a panel of quote unquote health experts, okay? Now we're going to get into the extraordinary part of this article and look at how they rank these articles or these diets, because as somebody who is a natural doctor who has literally worked with thousands of patients in order to help them improve their health naturally in every way, I find the ranking of these diets to be quite fascinating. First on our list, let's go through them, is going to be the Mediterranean diet. Now, I think overall the Mediterranean diet is a great diet. It focuses on eating whole foods and taking out all the different processed foods. Mediterranean diet as number one, I have no complaint about. I think it's a good diet that, the world would be a much better place as far as the health of the world is concerned if people followed the Mediterranean diet. So no complaints there, but let's move on to number two because this is where things get a little bit wild. So the DASH diet in at number two. Now, the DASH diet is quite an interesting diet. If we were to look at it, I would call it your typical American Heart Association type of diet. They want you to focus on eating whole grains, low-fat foods, fruits and veggies. I mean, really, when you look at this diet, I would say the only good part about it is that they actually tell you to cut down on sugar. So that's the best part. Make sure that you're avoiding sugar. So I am not a fan of the DASH diet. And it's number two, remind you of 39 different diets. And what's going to be most incredible about this article is as we go through, you're going to look at some of the most popular diets out there today just being put right at the bottom of the list. So DASH diet's in at number two, but it's tied with the Flexitarian diet. And this is also a diet that is quite interesting. This is basically a mashup between a vegetarian diet and allowing meat, okay? It emphasizes fruits, veggies, whole grains, and plant-based proteins. It is a smart and healthy choice, okay? So I'm not a fan of this diet either. I mean, once again, emphasizing whole grains as one of the top foods is never a good thing. And the thing is that you have to realize when we look at these diets and just take a reasonable approach to them, nobody puts their best foot forward when following these diets. They always kind of push the boundaries. So if you tell somebody that they can have whole grains, well, what does that mean? In most cases, because somebody is eating maybe more fruits and veggies, they compensate that with eating a whole loaf of whole grain bread or whole grain Pop-Tarts or whole grain anything. I mean, the list goes on. And of course, if you're eating a bunch of grains, it's not going to help you control your diabetes or your heart disease. It's just not a good thing. They're highly inflammatory. So not a fan of this diet either. Now let's go to number three on the list. It does say number four here, but remember, I'm considering the DASH diet and Flexitarian diet number two because they did technically tie. Now this is the Weight Watcher diet. And this is a diet that's interesting because I've seen so many people fall into the unfortunate trap of following this diet. And the Weight Watcher diet is basically a diet that attributes points to food. The problem is that it's focusing on putting points to food. So therefore, you're allowed so many points in a day. And the problem with this is that these points can be attributed to foods that aren't particularly healthy for you. So let's say you want a Twinkie, put some points to it. And once again, if you were to ask probably the founders of Weight Watchers, they would go, of course you shouldn't be eating these foods. But the fact is people are people and people are going to do what they do. And being that I've helped so many people lose weight, I just know the typical psychological patterns around this type of thing. And so you're going to get people putting points to chips, to Doritos, to Cheetos, to very unhealthy foods that they shouldn't be eating, high sugar cereal, whatever it might be. And, it's not something that is sustainable. So we always want to make sure that if we're truly trying to lose weight and we want to do it for a lifetime, we don't just, do something for a short period of time where we're putting points to it, but yet we go in and learn how to eat properly. So not a fan of the Weight Watchers diet. And now let's go ahead and basically just go through these different diets. I'm going to go through them one by one, and we're going to just go fast because I want you to see all these diets in ranking because, like I said, it's quite fascinating because once we get towards the end, some of my favorite diets are at the very bottom of the list. So we got the Mayo Clinic diet coming in at number 5, the Mind diet, which I don't even know what some of these diets are. I'm going to tell you that right now. The TLC diet, volumetrics diet, the Nordic diet, Ornish diet at number 9, vegetarian diet. I'm surprised they didn't put vegetarian higher, to be honest, because, I figured that would be just, something they would do. The Jenny Craig diet, the Noom diet, Dr. Wheel's anti-inflammatory diet, which is actually a pretty good diet. Asian, not sure what that is. Fertility diet, once again, never heard of that. Nutritarian diet, vegan diet, Engine 2 diet, the Biggest Loser diet. Now, let me tell you, if this has anything to do with the show, I would never follow it. Capitalizing on the name of the popular TV show. Yeah, I wouldn't follow anything that has to do with The Biggest Loser because the people who go on that show, they lose a ton of weight, but on average, they gain all the weight back plus like 10 to 20 pounds. They actually kind of did a study on the people who went through this whole program, and it was not good. It was not in their favor. So anything they have to say, I don't want to hear it. The glycemic index diet seems like it could be a good one. Nutrisystem, South Beach, Zone diet, the macrobiota diet, or macrobiotic diet, HMR program, Slim Fast diet, Optavia, Alkaline, the Fast diet, Paleo diet at 31. I'm actually a fan of the Paleo diet. And if you're older than 5 years old and watching this, you remember when every health guru on the planet was basically telling you to follow the Paleo diet because it was going to change your life. When this diet was really, really hot, there was enormous success stories of people who were in a bad place with their health. They started following the Paleo diet and it changed their life. This is a diet that focuses on eating basically like a caveman. You're eating things in nature. You're not eating processed foods. It's a good diet overall. I'm a big fan of it. I think where some people go wrong with the Paleo diet is that because it allows for some natural sugars, some people go overboard with that. But besides that little factor of it, Paleo diet's a great one. So I would not rank that down all the way at 31. Raw food diet, AIP diet, Atkins diet, modified keto diet at 35. Let me tell you, folks, this is the diet that I eat, okay? So I am pretty much a horrible human, I guess, for eating this diet because it is not good for my health. Now, if you look at the modified keto diet, I always refer to it as a low-carb diet. It's like this. When you're following the ketogenic diet, you are in the state of ketosis. Modified keto diet, you may be in ketosis here and there, but you're also going to be swinging from being in ketosis and out of. Now, you're also going to cut fat back a little bit. You're going to increase your protein a little bit, and you're going to increase or allow for a little bit more carbs. Modified keto, I think, is an incredibly sustainable way of eating for both myself with a busy schedule, my family, and whole families. And so I'm a big fan of the modified keto diet. It is one of my favorite diets. I've eaten this way for years, and I will continue to eat this way, even though U.S. News says it is a not so great diet to follow compared to other options out there. So modified keto diet all the way down at 35. We got the Whole30 diet, the GAPS diet, and then the ketogenic diet. This is why we're here. The ketogenic diet is ranked almost dead last, which is truly incredible because the ketogenic diet is one of the most popular diets out there right now. And many people have transformed their health in huge ways, whether it's weight loss. I mean, it's one of the best diets out there for helping you reverse diabetes, type 2 diabetes, that is. And it's a really incredible diet for improving your health overall. Now, we have to remember that this article was not written by scientists. It's not a scientific publication. But the thing is that's important to understand about it too is that it's highly influential. You're going to get a lot of people who read this and they follow this advice. And so I would say that, that's why I think it's a big deal that they put the ketogenic diet as dead last. And one of the reasons I believe they put the ketogenic diet so low is because they probably considered it to be not sustainable, which most people don't go on the ketogenic diet to follow it forever. They usually follow it for a period of time in order to overcome some health problems and then come off of it. But the other reason is because they probably looked at it as a diet that's bad for your heart because it will actually increase your cholesterol. Now, if you look at the traditional medical model of thinking when it comes to cholesterol, you would probably consider this diet to be bad simply because it is simply raising your cholesterol. However, the bigger picture is that you have to look at other factors involved. So as a natural doctor, I don't just look at cholesterol and determine somebody's health. What I look at is, okay, where's your cholesterol at? Where's your blood? Where's your fasting blood sugar? Where's your A1C? You have to look at other factors. What's your inflammatory level in the body? So you look at these other factors, and if you see that somebody's A1C and their metabolic health is healthy and that they also don't have a bunch of inflammation in the body, and cholesterol is the only concern, then you go, okay, the risk is fairly low. So in general, if you're only looking at the ketogenic diet through the lens that it could potentially raise your cholesterol, I think that that's a very poor way to understand the diet and just understand health in general. But I assume that that's what they're doing here. They're ranking multiple diets that recommend eating whole grains far above the ketogenic diet. And so I highly, highly disagree with this ranking system here. If I was to rank it myself, I would say modified keto is high on the list. And let's say the top 4 here. I would say modified keto, I'd say Mediterranean diet, paleo diet, and the keto diet are all the 4 best diets in this entire article. They're going to be very good for helping you overcome problems, but they're also going to be sustainable if you practice them correctly. I don't recommend somebody practice keto every day of the year. I recommend maybe you phase in and phase out of it, but modified keto is a great way to live. Mediterranean diet's a great way to live, and so is the paleo diet. So take that all in consideration when you think about which diet is right for you.